What are you doing?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I'm unpacking groceries.
Oh.
These are groceries that were given to us by St. Anthony of Padua Church because they have people from the St Vincent de Paul Society there, I guess, every Thursday. We were instructed from a social service agency, I guess, or maybe it was Office of Constituency Services. Told us to go over there and see someone about our situation.
Oh.
And they were very kind. They gave us groceries. We didn't ask for groceries, and this isn't what we went over there for. But we appreciate getting the groceries.
Yes.
That's very nice. We got instant chicken Lunchables. I mean, the lunch. This is nice. I used to eat these. We got vegetarian vegetable soup. We got soup and rice and peanut butter and jelly. Basically stuff that's good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is hearty, hearty stuff. I guess this is the kind of stuff they give to people who have a house and have a kitchen.
Yes.
When we went there, there were about 10 other people there total. When we arrived at their door, there was like 3 other people there. So this is apparently something they do once a week or something.
Yes.
And like I said, we're in a crisis situation where we weren't able to pay the rent this month. And so we wrote a letter to our landlords, and we got a phone call from John, the husband. It's a family that owns this house and the one next door, and this is their livelihood.
Yes.
And we understand they earn an income from these apartments. And we've been able to make that payment every month on the first of the month for about 6 years, and we just ran out of money. We're in a financial crisis. We have no income. The economy, that's a whole other story. And the thing is, while John, the husband of the husband and wife team that owns these houses, he was very sympathetic when he called me, but then after about 10 minutes or so, he went into trying to give me some advice, and his advice was more like a father giving advice to a lazy teenager. He listed some day jobs that he thought you and I should go out and do. And here's the thing: I've done those jobs, and Ed has done those jobs a little bit. Ed is a licensed professional civil engineer, and he's worked as a civil engineer off and on for 20 years. I've done a variety of work. The thing is, Ed is 52, I am 53. And we've been, we've been working at different jobs off and on for the last 20, 30 years, trying to find a direction, trying to find out what our talents are, trying to find out what our strengths are, trying to, basically make the most of what we have to give and to contribute through the employment and job marketplace. The thing is, we know that the economy is not what it is supposed to be. It is not as strong and large and diverse and expansive and as flexible as we are all told that it's supposed to be. And we know the reasons for that. We know that large corporations are not paying taxes, and that they are finding loopholes to take their profits and to park them in no tax shelters in the Cayman Islands, and due to the manipulation of legal loopholes, large corporations are actually getting tax refunds. These are probably in the form of tax credits for opening, a manufacturing or a retail outlet, within a state, what have you.
Yeah, or overseas.
But here's the thing, that the media infrastructure that we have, it all started out about 50 years ago as something that was actually informing. And in the last 3 or 4 decades, it has become simply a vehicle for advertising and entertainment.
Yes.
And so, we are in the freest country in the world, but the oppression that is happening to people at the bottom of the economy is an oppression of omission. If you read the newspaper and turn on the television, you never hear or read about anything that is really happening in the economy. And, Eddie and I, for as long as it lasts, we still have internet service.
Yeah.
And we've had internet service for about the last 5 years, and we have access to very good, well-researched news outlets, government reports, and government data and economic data. And that is available on the internet, and it is not available in many daily papers like the Times-Picayune, which is no longer a daily paper. They cut back their... like so many of the sort of stabilizing foundation institutions that so many of us have learned and been conditioned to rely on, the Times-Picayune basically, fewer and fewer people is getting fewer subscribers, and so their corporate strategy was to just cut back and cut back and cut back. And the first things they cut back on were like reporting to the city council, reporting to the state legislature. I have no idea what the city council does. I have no idea what the state legislature does unless I go online and sift through a lot of the blather to find out what's really being passed and what's really being decided by our state legislature or by our city council. And so anyway, I'm kind of rambling a bit, and I apologize for that, but Eddie and I, we are a household in crisis. And basically, we're turning to, what is left of the safety net. And yesterday we were able to get assistance for our electricity. So we have 3 months of electricity due to that assistance. And that was through something called, what was it? It was called Total Action something. Do you remember what it was called, Eddie?
Total Community Action.
Total Community Action. And I don't know what that is, but I'm going to look it up on the internet tonight and find out more about it, and I'm going to write them a thank you letter.
Yes.
And like I said, Eddie called up someone at our congressional representative's office. Cedric Richmond is our congressional representative. And I knew that there was a branch of every representative office called Constituency Services.
Yes.
And Eddie called that, and someone there told us about the financial assistance for electricity bills. But we're looking for something. We're looking for housing.
Yes.
Maybe something we could trade. We could be the security guards for a vacant house or a vacant building. It could be a warehouse building. Just as long as if we could somehow rig up a makeshift bathroom and kitchen, and we're able to do that. We have camping equipment. We do have cook stoves. We have, a cooler that we could use as a makeshift fridge. The thing is, we need to do what we are able to do.
Yes.
Okay, don't give us a lecture on, there's a lot of work at Walmart, there's a lot of work in motels and hotels, there's work out there. Yes, it's work for people in their late teens and their 20s, and it's for young, energetic people.
Yes, and the hirers know it.
And they know it, and they're not going to hire us because people like Ed and I would be most likely to unionize the employees and demand better wages, and they would certainly nip that in the bud.
And if quickly. Not that, they would think we certainly cannot keep up.
And here's the thing, I was having this conversation with John, our landlord, when he called, and he said, I know you guys, you have a lot of talents. I know it sounds like you're overqualified for a lot of jobs, but I know these jobs may seem beneath you, but there's work out there. Don't give me that bullshit. that work is not beneath us. We've done that. I've done a lot of that.
Yeah, and I've gone out and tried looking for some, and the people who would be hiring me said, "This job is beneath you. We suggest you go looking at, something in accordance with your station."
Right. Yeah. Now I haven't been told that because I guess I don't come off as quite as professional as you do, Eddie. But basically, for every one of me looking for that kind of job, there are 20 or 30 people who are better qualified for it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, the jobs here that we used to do here in the United States have been shipped overseas. And it started with furniture making and textiles, and the latest trend is in drafting and architectural services, those types of services.
And engineering
services, which you heard in the business press 10 years ago, oh, that at least that's what's staying in the U.S. So everyone needs to become, a licensed, credentialed professional. That's the strategy. That's what you would read in the business press and on the Help Wanted pages. There would be a career advice article at the front of the Help Wanted pages every Sunday, and it would be stuff like that. It's like go back to school and get your credential, because well, it turns out that was just basically recruitment and advertising for universities and the banks that basically give out student loans, and those student loans are guaranteed by the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
So it's guaranteed cushion and profit for banks, who are the middlemen who don't really work very well as that middleman, because they get you hooked and into debt, and then when you can't pay, they have a huge apparatus for bill collection.
Yeah.
But there is no apparatus for taking your credentials. If you complete schooling and you get the credentials, there's no apparatus for taking what you know and becoming a contractor, an independent contractor or vendor of your unique and individual skills.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what Ed wants. That's what we need. That's the kind of government program we need. Or, here's something, that's the kind of private sector we need. That should be a good Republican program or idea, to train everyone to be the vendor. And I don't mean pushcart vendor. We should have been taught this in school. We should have been taught in school instead of, irrelevant math and diagramming sentences just to keep us babysat in school. We should be taught, how contracts work. We should be taught contracting and vending, and we should be taught and given the framework and the paperwork and the documents that enable us to have an accounts receivable.
Yes.
And not simply be easy marks for accounts payable.
Right.
The problem with our household was, in the last 2 years, we had one accounts receivable. And that was Ed's 401k. Those were his retirement funds. We had to cash those in. We weren't supposed to cash them. It's a bad idea to cash them in. But guess what? Everyone who is out of work is cashing in their 401k to pay their bills and to put off being homeless for a little while.
Yeah.
Homelessness is happening slowly, in slow motion, but it's happening, and it's gathering momentum, and we're all becoming debt slaves and homeless, and that's where we are.
Yes.
But try to find a mechanism that teaches you how to be your own vendor, and you get this one-size-fits-all template that doesn't fit you. It fits the perfect rational individual who had 2 sober parents who were well-educated and on the same page, and they cultivated and groomed their child to grow up and be this super focused, super perfect young adult with really good credit, and who understands how the banking and credit and billing systems work. The rest of us are not taught any of that. We haven't been taught any of that, and that's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sure this is getting very long. You can end this.